Wait, if you are one of the thousands of punters that have an unsettling betting history, then don't worry, you're not alone. The fact that you are watching this video is a good indicator to me that you're attracted to the prospect of making a huge profit through horse racing, and let's face it, who isn't? The market is one of the most efficient ways of raking in tax-free cash, at least when you know how, that is. Last year alone, the industry was worth over £500 billion. This year, it's not going to be worth quite that amount because we are going to do everything we can to make sure the bookies fork out as much as possible. Have you ever thought about changing your usual holiday destination to a luxury 5-star resort on a remote island with your own personal waiters at your beck and call? I know it may sound like a far-fetched fantasy to make these sort of changes at this stage in your betting career, but whether you are just starting out or you have been a punter for decades, this is always a possibility. You'll see what I mean as I show you how I've actually developed a way of making sure the bets I place yield immense returns. What I'm about to reveal is by no means a quick fix to your cash flow, but it will be the foundation upon which you will be able to build a solid fortress of funds. My name is Carl Murray. I've been a professional punter for over 11 years now, and I've always had a passion for horse racing. Ever since I can remember, I've been fascinated with all things horse-related. As a kid, I attended the Dungod Camp drafting school on weekends and during the summer holidays. I never had an ambition to be a rider, as I've always been a big lad, and I was never one for riding the timid horses. Actually, quite the opposite. My teacher, Mr. Miller, always used to say I have a promising career ahead of me as a bull rider. Little did he know my career would be taking candy from a baby, or to be more precise, cash from the bookmakers. Being around all those different horses gave me a knack for being able to tell apart the lightning-quick stallions from the broken-down bisons. And this ability of mine has moulded me into a very successful punter, if I do say so myself. With close to 10 years' experience, I've managed to plant my feet firmly in the stirrup of success. This is why I'm talking to you now. Over my years of betting, I've managed to develop a system so effective it would be selfish not to share it with some of my fellow punters. I understand this is a bold statement, but if you have done your research, you must be aware that there are already effective systems out there. The difference being that I have personally developed mine, so I know I can trust it. I personally see a minimum of £1,436.37 a week. It hasn't always been this way, though. When I first started placing bets, more often than not, I would just about break even. The main thing that I must stress is that I'm not going to suggest you take out another mortgage on your home and gather as much money as possible from the bank or friends and family so that you can place it all down on one surefire bet. Certainly not, and let me tell you now, there is no such thing as a surefire bet. There is just a way to apply the acquired information about current horse racing and mathematically spread out selections based on the system I have in place. There it was, place. That is the key to all of this. There is a time and a place for everything. The time for you is now, and place betting is the seed of which your bank balance will blossom. It doesn't take a genius to work out that if you have money on 3 positions instead of 1, then your chances of winning are vastly increased. When picking my selections, I am comparing a number of different stats for every race. Stats that I've gathered through studying articles in different monthly magazines, talking to my contacts about which training techniques are being used where, and the most important thing here, my keen eye for a champion. You have been losing because your information is based on history repeating itself, rather than looking at how the forthcoming chapter is going to play out. This is the reason my system works so well, because I have took a different approach to the way my fortune is calculated. And here is how I've managed to do this, and how I can rake in over £1,436 a week. Needless to say, that sort of weekly profit is not from £10 bets, but still the winning percentage remains the same, as the selections you would be getting are the exact same ones as I personally use. With a staggering return on investment percentage of between 84 and 147%, whatever you place will return a very tidy sum. In case you were wondering, no, this is definitely not a favourites-based system. If it was, then my profit would look dismal. I always understood the importance of making sure I was backing a variety of low, mid and high odds horses. This way, if I see a horse suddenly stop mid-race to admire one of the spectators' fancy hats, it will only affect my strike rate a tiny bit, and I will still be on track as I know not all selections win. The investment you're about to make is based on years of calculations and insider information. Introducing Place Profit Masters, a one-of-a-kind tipster service that will make up to 1,370% ROI with every winning wager. A service that, unlike some, doesn't claim to win 9 out of 10 bets, but what I can tell you is that over the years, I have managed to maintain an average monthly ROI of 87%. There is a lot of complex factors I take into account when choosing my selections. I follow every minute detail from the demographics of the horses to the location of the time and race, the performance of the jockeys and trainers, the information on the race card, and every other affecting factor to do with that event. It means you can now spend the rest of your betting career following the expert picks and be comfortable you will never have to invest in another fraudulent system made by some marketing whiz-kids with the intent to bleed your funds dry. By now, this should be making a lot of sense, and you have realized that this is the only viable option for making a fortune at the races. The only reason I am allowing a select few to receive my selections is so that I have peace of mind knowing I have stopped you wasting your money on another rubbish system that doesn't work. If you want to see the kind of profits I've been telling you about, then allow yourself to test ride our service now by simply clicking the Add to Cart button below this video. Signing off, Carl Murray. Remember, you've got nothing to lose, so act now.